I'm Dr. Ron Daniels, president of the Institute of the Black World 21st Century. Whew. We do a lot of work with the Institute of the Black World and the struggle for social justice and social change, particularly in these trying times. We're struggling for transformative change. But before I say anything, first and foremost, we hope everybody is safe and will be safe, that we will protect each other, look after each other, that we have a sense of shared values in the spirit of Ujima, collective work and responsibility. We need our people to be safe. It's not just about you. It's not a me, myself, and I thing. It's a we, us, and our thing. We have to protect each other. If it was just you, I still want you individually to be safe. But the problem is you may be spreading the virus to others. And think about those frontline workers, many of whom are from Central and South America and Africa and the Caribbean, and many of them are Black people, who will be bearing the brunt. Literally, my behavior could be killing them. So we don't want to do that, right? So, and I know that we're going to be acting responsibly. So I really, really, really want to thank our thousands of friends and supporters across the country that donate to the work of IBW. We really, really appreciate your support. And at this critical moment, frankly, we need your help more than ever before. Rather than do a written out statement, I said, let me just talk to the people straight up in hopes that we can connect and get a year-end appeal done that will be productive in terms of resources coming to IBW. Actually looking for just 100 people out of the thousands who will be receiving this to contribute $25,000. That's right, $25,000. And we're looking for 25 sustaining contributors. I'll talk about that a little bit later. People who are going to give us $25 a month. If we can get 25 to do that, that's the cost of our rent. We have a Baltimore office and that'll cover the rent. So we're looking at specific things that we need your support for. We do a lot of work, as I said before, in terms of IBW. I'm going to start by sharing my screen and showing you a chart that gives you an illustration of what we do with the Institute of the Black World 21st Century. Now here you see the Institute of the Black World 21st Century, our motto, which comes off of our basic mission: cultivating a culture of collaboration to empower and heal Black families, communities, and nations. Look at all of the things that we do. But we function as a progressive, African-centered, action-oriented facilitator, convener, and resource center. And I'm going to be talking about some of the work that we do. Like down here, you see the National African American Reparations Commission. We convene and administer the National African American Reparations Commission, which is called NARC. And in that regard, have emerged really at the forefront and the very center of this work. Engaging with organizations like NCOBRA, who have certainly been at the forefront of this movement for decades. We're going to talk about the Black Family Summit. We're going to talk about the Pan-African Unity Dialogue. We're going to talk about gentrification during the course of my brief chat with you today. And we'll say something about the Haiti Support Project, just in terms of the fact that that's something we'll be mentioning later. But you see all of these things: Police Reform and Accountability Task Force, the Newark Model City and Marshall Plan Initiative, the symposiums that we do, the National African American Reparations Commission, cross-generational dialogue. These are all the kind of things that we do with the Institute of the Black World 21st Century. And so I'm going to begin with reparations, because reparations is an idea whose time has come. It has arrived. It's no longer talking about whether it's going to, it's here. And IBW, as I said before, convenes the National African American Reparations Commission. We have a 10-point program that you can see on the IBW website. You can see it at ibw21.org, excuse me, at ibw21.org. We have the most extensive online reparations resource center in the world. right? And so we want you to go there to look at that 10-point program, which is designed to be a frame of reference for the discussion on reparations. We are also helping to convene the HR 40 strategy group around HR 40. It's no longer a bill just to study whether reparations are warranted, as initially put forth by Congressman John Conyers. It is now, under the leadership of Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, a bill to study reparations proposals, not whether, but in what forms reparations will take place. As we convene a coalition, powerful coalition that includes COBRA, the American Civil Liberties Union, Human Rights Watch, Center for American Progress, NACP, National Council of Churches, Color of Change. We are working, and we are very close at the federal level of achieving that goal, either by way of legislation or a presidential commission, depending on the outcome of events in Georgia in the not too distant future. We also are involved in, reparations is bubbling up everywhere. And so what we have done with the National African American Reparations Commission / NARC is to look at local reparations initiatives. And the most promising and powerful is in Evanston, Illinois, where Robin Rue Simmons, who is the alderman from the 5th Ward there, got the city council there to get a proposal for $10 million for 10 years. Reached out to NARC to help her work it through and to build it and develop it into a model, and we've done that. Evanston has been certified as a model for municipal reparations. And so we're now prepared to help other cities, whether it may be Providence, Rhode Island, or Seattle, Washington, Los Angeles, wherever it's coming from, to aid and assist to make sure that it's really reparations, not just called reparations, but it meets the criteria that has been established over many years for what is in fact reparations. The other astonishing development is there are many white allies who are joining this fight. There's an affiliated organization called the Fund for Reparations Now, created by a young white progressive activist out of Los Angeles named David Gardner. Came to us and said, I want to organize white people, white allies, to give reparations now based on the 10-point program of NARC. We vetted him, he's a good person. And as a result of that, they created the Fund for Reparations Now to organize white folks who are concerned while we're fighting for the federal legislation, while we're working on local initiatives, people who want to give now, and they're doing it. Based on our 10-point program, number 9 says, organizing to preserve sacred sites and monuments. And so they've decided to support that point. Went further and said, let's be specific. We said, support the struggle for reparatory justice in Elaine, Arkansas. Elaine, Arkansas, where in the summer of 1919, the bloody red summer of 1919, where a lot of massacres and assaults on Black people took place. It also happened in Elaine, Arkansas. Over 300 people killed, some of them buried in mass graves. People who were property owners, people who had a proud community that was decimated. And we're supporting them by way of the Fund for Reparations Now. They've laid out an agenda of things they want to achieve there. And actually, the Fund for Reparations Now has just allocated the first $50,000 coming from white allies to support the struggle in Elaine, Arkansas, which, by the way, we were brought to by the Samuel D. Wood Proctor Conference under the leadership of Dr. Iva Carruthers. So we're very much involved in that as well. Now, you know, there are not going to be any foundations who are going to be supporting reparations, at least so far. At least they're not supporting us so far. So that's an area that we want you to donate. Donate. We need your support around reparations. And you can also become a reparations advocate by going online again to ibw21.org. So that's reparations. Reparations is big. I want to start there because you know reparations is big and we're very much involved in it. You saw in our little chart the Black Family Summit. Well, the Black Family Summit, under the leadership of Baba Leonard Dunstan, the President Emeritus of the National Association of Black Social Workers, is a phenomenal collaboration. It involves over 27 socially responsible and conscious Black professional organizations who are committed to working to preserve and protect Black families and communities. Organizations like the National Association of Black Social Workers, Black Psychiatrists of America, Association of Black Psychologists, All Healers Mental Health Alliance, Community Healing Network, Black Administrators in Child Welfare, the International Association of Black Professional Firefighters. They're all coming together, collaborating. They still are independent organizations, but they're coming together like we should as Black people, collaborating. That's what we do in IBW. We bring folks together to collaborate, to learn from each other, maximize our resources in order to move things forward. And they're doing an incredible job. I could spend a lot of time just on the Black Family Summit. One of the major things they do is we have an emergency management task force. That task force helps to go into areas when there are natural and man-made disasters, and a lot of them are man-made disasters, but you've seen the hurricanes, you saw Flint, the Flint water crisis. Well, one of the things they do is provide healing services, psychological counseling, but also providing wraparound services to marginalized communities that sometimes are just not touched by these major organizations. It is great that we also have a relationship with FEMA. Had a great relationship under the previous administration, not so much under Agent Orange, but we anticipate under the new administration that being renewed. But that has helped us to penetrate these communities and provide vital services. And they do an amazing job. And we have to give a big credit to the All Healers Mental Health Alliance. That is an organization that's been on the phone every 2 weeks for 15 years now or more, looking at these disasters and deploying resources. And they are part of the disaster management task force that is headed by the Institute of the Black World 21st Century under the leadership of Joseph Muhammad, International Black Professional Firefighters, and Dr. Lucy Perez, President Emeritus of the National Medical Association. That's the Black doctors. The other thing that happened is, as soon as the COVID crisis emerged, IBW was right on it with the Black Family Summit. First of all, we had to convince Black people that this is real. This is not fake. This is deadly. It's killing people, and it's killing us disproportionately. So we had to go into action, and we did that. We launched a national emergency coronavirus initiative to help get information out, to educate people, give you data, give you facts. Inside of that, we also have created something called a Community Cares Listening Line in New York. The Community Cares Listening Line is a culturally appropriate. That means you got Black folks, you got people from the Caribbean, got people from Africa who are on the line, social workers, psychiatrists, psychologists who are there to listen if you're having trauma, if you're having anxieties, and then we can refer you to various services so we can take care of our peeps, of our people. And so that's a major project also under the Black Family Summit, an incredible organization under the umbrella of the Institute of the Black World 21st Century. We're committed to fighting against gentrification, combating gentrification. Go to our IBW website again, ibw21.org, and you'll see the amazing gentrification summit that we convened in 2019 in Newark, New Jersey. You'll see the action agenda, and then you can look at the town hall meeting that was convened. That was absolutely phenomenal, covered by C-SPAN, covered by WBAI in New York, WPFW. It was just an absolutely phenomenal event. And we are going to continue to fight against gentrification as, well, back in the day, we called urban renewal, for example, the Negro Removal Program in the 20th century. Well, gentrification is the Negro Removal Program in the 21st century. And we're going to continue to fight against that. How? By creating a resource center that will help local organizations on the ground to have technical assistance and information that they can share with each other about how they're fighting against it in their respective cities. Creating a national anti-gentrification network under the auspices of what we're calling a community restoration initiative. We just don't want to be anti. We are going to restore our communities. We're going to stop the displacement of Black people and Black culture across this country. And also, pulling together human rights leaders, faith leaders, civil rights leaders, Black elected officials, and a focus really on Newark. We've always looked at Newark because of the leadership of the Honorable Raj J. Baraka. We see his progressive policies as being important as a model and his administration as being a model. So we're going to be involved in working on gentrification. Another reason we need your support in terms of contributions at the end of the year, tax deductible for the Institute of the Black World 21st Century. You can do that by going to ibw21.org. You see that in the background, looking for the donation button, and you can contribute tax deductible contributions. We also are still involved in fighting against the war on drugs. We have a drug policy reform initiative. We have justice collaboratives that meet on a periodic basis. They need to be shored up. We need more resources for them. Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, and Washington, D.C. They come together, different organizations, collaborating, meeting, exchanging information to say, how do we move forward on critical ways to stop this drug war? Right now, the key priorities are looking at the whole question. And by the way, our framework is harm reduction, stop the harm to Black people. We're looking at also public health as opposed to punishment and criminalization, and racial, economic, and reparative justice as a framework. In that regard, we're talking about decriminalizing and or legalizing marijuana. Actually, looking at decriminalizing drugs, period. Why? Not because we're advocating people use drugs. That's on them. That's a personal choice. It's really about the fact that we're the ones who disproportionately are arrested and go to jail and therefore have arrest records, and we are therefore punished. And so we want to relieve that. But if there is going to be legalization, we want to make sure those monies are reinvested in Black communities across this country in order to rebuild them. If we were the ones who bore the brunt, we ought to be the communities that also share in the revenue for rebuilding our communities. We're also talking about reimagining and restructuring policing. That's right, we need to divest some of those resources from the policing department and reinvest them in social services and ways in which we don't have to rely on the police so much. And so we're talking about reducing reliance on the police. We're talking about why can't we control the police as opposed to the police controlling us. So we have a police reform and accountability task force headed by Ron Hampton, one of the founders of the National Black Police Association, and I think the leading expert on this work across the country. So that's another way, another reason why we need your support to help IBW continue this expansive work that we're doing. A lot of it has been on guts and faith. We haven't had a lot of support, but it's beginning to change. It's beginning to change because of you. And we thank you for it. But we're just saying we need more. We need more in this hour, this critical crisis. We also have something called the Pan-African Unity Dialogue. You saw that on the chart. Pan-African Unity Dialogue is very simple. We need to practice Pan-Africanism right here. You know, we have 50,000 Nigerians now who are in Houston, Texas. You know, I mean, we have, you can go to Jackson, Mississippi now and get some jerk chicken, man. And I love some jerk chicken. I mean, so we have immigrants, African immigrants, and people of Africa from all over the world who are now, they've always been there, but even a larger part of the Black community. The question is, how do we all get along? Are we working together? And so we have established in New York something called a Pan-African Unity Dialogue that brings together on a quarterly basis continental Africans, Caribbean Americans, Afro-Latinos, and African Americans to sit around the table to talk to each other, to resolve issues and problems, and to work together in order to have power to influence domestic policy, but also to influence the policy towards Africa by connecting the diaspora with the African Union and all of that, connecting the diaspora with the African Union and the African continent, and impacting policy. And so we have something called the Proud African Policy Agenda. Don't have time to talk about that in detail, but you remember when the Orange Man called all these countries S-holes. We said, no, we are proud Africans. And so we have a policy agenda that is reflecting that. The Pan-African Unity Dialogue, again, you go to the website, you'll see tremendous work that we've done. In fact, Ambassador Arikana, Chirabai Kwa, who became such a celebrated figure, she got her initial address was made that went viral at the Pan-African Unity Dialogue. Go on the website and you'll see it. That's IBW in action. Finally, we have another big thing that we do every few years, and some of you have been involved in it. We do the State of the Black World Conference. Every year after presidential elections, we do State of the Black World Conference. And we do that to assess the impact of the presidential election on Black America and the Pan-African world. Well, we were supposed to have had the Pan-African, the State of the Black World Conference in November, just last month. But of course, COVID and the pandemic checked all that. And so what you did see, and you can still see on the IBW website, is the town hall meeting. We had an incredible town. Thousands of people watched the town hall meeting, which did an assessment, key civil rights leaders, activists, organizers, on the question of the impact of the presidential election on Black America and the Pan-African world. You may have heard us say that, therefore, we're going to do a 100-day assessment, but we're pointing towards Newark, New Jersey, November of 2021. We are hoping to have an on-site, in-person State of the Black World Conference like none other. And we're dedicating it to the memory of the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey. In fact, we dedicated 2020 to the legacy of the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey, who said the year of Marcus Garvey. Well, we're going to extend that into 2021 because we think that what Garvey had to say in terms of self-sufficiency and self-reliance and a vision of global Black power, righteous Black power, still is applicable to us today. And so we're going to continue that thread right through until November. And so watch out for that, because we're going to, and get ready for it. It's going to be the most, and in fact, because of some of the work that we did in 2019, there are at least 3 heads of state that will be involved in it. There will be former heads of state. There'll be leaders from major political movements and political movements and civil society movements that will be involved. It will be the most powerful State of the Black World Conference ever. So stay tuned. So brothers and sisters and friends, that's what we do. And we need your support. We appreciate you. We appreciate your support. We thank you. Today, just asking for $25,000. $25,000 between now and December 31st. It's tax deductible. We're a 501c3. We want to dedicate these dollars particularly to building out our communications infrastructure. When you go to the website, you'll see how great our website is developing and evolving under the leadership and guidance of Don Rojas. Who is Don Rojas? Don Rojas was the press secretary for Maurice Bishop, the former late great prime minister of Grenada with the People's Revolutionary Government of Grenada, but much more than that. Editor of the Amsterdam News, general manager for WBAI, director of communications for the NAACP. He has done so much, this incredible revolutionary brother. So when you look at that website, you see how it's developed, but we need to expand it. Different media platforms, social media, we're learning. I'm learning. I'm being drawn into the 21st century, for God's sake. But that's what we need, and we need support to get that done. I want to just read something from a person who has been contributing to us since 2001. His name is Gregory Griffin, as I bring this to a close, because we also want people who can be sustaining contributors. This is a letter from Gregory Griffin. Since 2001, he has sent us religiously without fail $10 a month. That's why when you go to the website, you see a Gregory Griffin circle of sustaining contributors. Here's what he said. Before I close, he wrote a letter. When seeing in late 2018, the growth of the news and information portion of the Institute of the Black World 21st Century website, it reminded me of why I made the right choice to be a monthly contributor to the Institute of the Black World 21st Century and contribute my contribution every month to the Institute of the Black World 21st Century. Thank you, he says, Gregory Griffin. Well, we want you to join Gregory Griffin. We're really looking again for just 25,000, but it would be great if it just exploded to much more than that. But if we had 5 people who gave us $1,000, that's right. You asked for that? Yeah, because there are people out there who can give $1,000. 5 people, tax deductible, $1,000. 15 people at $500. 30 at $250, and 50 at 100 gives us $25,000. Now others can contribute 50, 25, give whatever you can, $5, whatever you can give, we profoundly appreciate it. Let the dollars flood in, and we really do. But we know there are people who can afford more, and we're asking you to give more. Finally, if we could just get 25 people to give 25 more people to give $25 a month, that would be like $650 or so. Our rent in Baltimore is like $675. It would cover the rent. That'd be an item that would be ticked off of our administrative agenda. So brothers and sisters and friends, allies, we say in the spirit of Marcus Garvey, up you mighty race, he said, you can accomplish what you will. This is the 55th year of the Nguzo Saba. And principles there, Ujima, collective work and responsibility, and Ujamaa, cooperative economics. In that spirit, we're asking you to please help by donating to the Institute of the Black World 21st Century by going to ibw21.org. And I guarantee you, the Holy, God, whatever spiritual force is in your life, and the ancestors will bless you. Really appreciate you taking time out to hear this appeal. We say, Aluta continue. The struggle will continue, and we will be victorious.